Hi, my name's Quiet Liz, and this time around I thought I would talk about when I knew. It's kind of like a common thing. Like I don't know, when did I know I was trans? Well, I don't know if that really counts because I didn't comprehend what the concept of trans. I didn't understand. Uh, because I was about 12 years old. And how that came about was I was hanging out with the daughter of my mom's friend. And we were having a pillow fight. And in the process of having a pillow fight, I accidentally punched her in the chest. And she fell off the bed and started crying. And I was confused. I didn't get why she was crying. I mean, I'd been hit in the chest plenty of times, and it didn't hurt that bad. And I didn't think I hit her that hard. So I was like, this doesn't compute. So I ask her what's wrong, and she explains that when a girl gets hit in the chest, it really, really hurts. And I kind of just looked at her, sort of confused, and was like processing. I was like, but it doesn't hurt me when I get hit in the chest. And I didn't really comprehend exactly what was going on in my head at that point. Um, but she followed up with, well, see, for me, getting hit in the chest is like you getting hit in the balls. And I was like, oh, I can understand that concept. I mean, that hurts a lot. I felt really bad. I could relate to the level of pain, but I didn't understand why my chest didn't hurt when I would get hit there. At least nowhere near to that level. And that's sort of what started it all, so to speak. So, because before then, yeah, there's the gender concept as like a child growing up, exploring and whatnot. I mean, when I played with my sister who was older than me, we played with G.I. Joes, Legos, Barbies, it didn't matter. Um, Most of the kids I hung out with were boys and girls. We played everything the same. So there wasn't really any sort of fine line that sort of defines what's a girl and what's a boy. And even today, like, I think that's just a stupid concept of like, oh, well, you have a definition. I mean, I've never gotten past because I said so as enough of a reason. Anyways, so that sort of started things, and I kind of, it clicked in my head that things didn't match up for me. It didn't compute. It was like, wait, okay, so something's wrong. I'm not what everybody else thinks I am. So when everyone says that I'm a boy and they think I'm a boy, I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me. But I was not naive enough, I guess, at that point to think that it wouldn't be held against me to sort of go against the status quo, go against what everybody else was telling me. And while my parents were pretty cool, they weren't cool enough for me to feel comfortable admitting how I felt. So while I knew when I was around 12 years old, I didn't then come out until I was much older. I mean, I guess the first time I came out was some point in college to my one friend in college. He was the only person that ever knew I had any sort of like feelings because I just kept everything to myself until then. And even then it was through the guise of, oh, well, this is my roleplay character online, and like I have an alternate persona, and that's who she is. And we both kind of like had our own thing, and that's how it worked out. But even then, it was still the notion of like, okay, this isn't right. I still had mm, that concept, that misconception. I like that better. That misconception that because what the doctor said when I was born, I was wrong. The way that I felt was wrong. So I kind of gave in a little bit online, but even then I still felt guilty. It felt wrong. It felt like I was cheating, but not like cheating the system, more of like cheating myself. And I kind of continued to go on with this notion of like I wasn't ready to come out. I was still trying to figure out how to stop being me. Um, so I went through and did what everything else that they tell you to do in terms of like how society's supposed to be. You're supposed to get married, have kids, buy a house, that all that crap. I did. I got married, bought a house, we had a kid, and my feelings didn't go away. My feelings just kept growing and growing. So when I was 30, I finally came out. And that I guess I'll go into detail later on. But it took me 18 years to process that it was okay for me to be happy with this. That this is me, and there is nothing wrong with that. And to a degree, that kind of sucks. I mean, there are 18 years I didn't get, but at the same time, well, I'm not married to her anymore, but she's my closest friend. And sarcastic, silly, quick-witted, little dork of a kid. I wouldn't have had either of those. So, I don't know if I really regret having taken those 18 years. But I hope that this story helps. Just because you know doesn't always mean that you're ready to come out. And also, when you know, or when it clicks, isn't consistent. It's not like, oh, I know when I'm a baby. Some do. Some don't until they're older, or even much older. I've met people who didn't know until they were older than I am now, so it's all relative and it varies. You know when it's right for you to know, and that's how it was for me. In any case, that's my story of when I knew. I'll come up with more things to talk about and share my feelings and such next time around. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave comments. Oh, and the whole like and subscribe thing, I'm sure that matters too. I'll figure that the outro thing at some point maybe. Anyways, bye!